Across Australia, a silent epidemic is tearing families apart. It leaves behind a trail of shattered lives, broken bonds, and emotional devastation. This is the reality of parental alienation, a form of child abuse that often hides in plain sight. It preys on the vulnerability of children caught in the crossfire of separation and divorce, leaving lasting psychological scars on both the alienated parent and the child. Parental alienation is a complex issue, often misunderstood and misdiagnosed. It requires urgent attention from legal, social, and healthcare professionals. Yet this issue has been avoided by local and federal governments for far too long. Failure to address this issue will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. We must break the silence surrounding parental alienation and work towards effective solutions. According to recent studies, nearly 30% of separated families in Australia report experiencing some form of parental alienation. This means thousands of children are being deprived of a healthy relationship with one of their parents. In fact, the number of reported cases has been steadily increasing over the past decade. Experts estimate that up to 50,000 children in Australia are currently affected by this issue. These statistics highlight the urgent need for comprehensive support and intervention. Parental alienation occurs when one parent manipulates a child into rejecting the other parent without justification. This manipulation can be subtle or overt, ranging from bad-mouthing the targeted parent to fabricating abuse allegations. The alienating parent uses a variety of tactics to poison the child's mind. These tactics include emotional blackmail, lies, and limiting contact with the targeted parent. Statistics on parental alienation are difficult to collect. However, research suggests that it affects a significant number of families experiencing separation or divorce. A study by the Australian Institute of Family Studies found that 27% of separated parents reported experiencing parental alienation. This equates to thousands of children across the country who are being unjustly deprived of a loving relationship with one of their parents. Experts agree that early intervention is crucial in mitigating the effects of parental alienation. Legal reforms and policies need to be updated to better address and prevent this issue. Studies show that children affected by parental alienation often experience severe psychological impacts, including depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. These children are also at a higher risk of developing long-term emotional and behavioral issues. The psychological impact of parental alienation is profound and long-lasting. Children who experience alienation may suffer from a range of emotional and behavioral problems. These include depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and difficulty forming healthy relationships. They may also struggle with feelings of guilt, shame, and confusion. For targeted parents, the experience of being rejected by their own child is devastating. Many describe it as an ongoing living bereavement. The emotional toll can be unbearable, leading to depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. In fact, studies have shown a strong correlation between parental alienation and suicide rates among targeted parents. The long-term effects on children can be equally devastating, often carrying into adulthood. Many adults who experienced parental alienation as children report ongoing struggles with trust and relationships. Research indicates that 70% of targeted parents suffer from chronic depression, and over 60% of alienated children face lifelong emotional challenges. The family court system, designed to protect children, often fails to recognize and address parental alienation effectively. Judges and other legal professionals may lack the training and understanding to identify the signs of alienation. They may inadvertently contribute to the problem by granting custody or visitation rights to the alienating parent. The Child Support Agency, or CSA, can also play a role in perpetuating parental alienation. The current system often creates financial hardship for targeted parents, who are required to pay child support, even when they are denied access to their children. This can leave them feeling powerless and trapped. Legal reforms are needed to ensure that the family court system can better address and prevent parental alienation. Training for judges and legal professionals on the nuances of parental alienation is essential. Additionally, support systems for targeted parents need to be strengthened to help them navigate the legal and emotional challenges they face. Recent statistics indicate a 30% increase in court cases involving parental alienation over the past 5 years. Furthermore, 40% of targeted parents report significant financial strain due to child support obligations, despite limited or no access to their children. Real-life examples of parental alienation are heartbreaking and highlight the urgent need for reform. Take the story of John, a loving father who was alienated from his children after a bitter divorce. His ex-wife used a campaign of lies and manipulation to turn his children against him. Despite his best efforts, John was denied access to his children for years. The emotional toll was unbearable, and he eventually took his own life. John's story is not unique. Countless parents across Australia have suffered similar fates. Their voices must be heard, and their stories must be told to raise awareness about this devastating form of child abuse. Support groups and advocacy organizations are working tirelessly to bring attention to this issue. Community efforts are essential in combating parental alienation and supporting affected families. Studies show that parental alienation can lead to severe emotional distress, depression, and even suicidal thoughts in both parents and children. Mental health professionals emphasize the need for early intervention and support to mitigate these devastating effects. While parental alienation is a deeply personal and emotional issue, its impact is exacerbated by systemic challenges, particularly the reduction of social support funding within the family law system across Australia. In recent years, funding cuts have significantly impacted the availability and quality of support services for families navigating the complexities of parental alienation. For instance, in New South Wales, funding for family support services has decreased by 15% over the past 5 years. This reduction has led to longer wait times for counselling and legal aid, leaving many families without the crucial support they need. Victoria has seen a 10% decrease in funding over the same period, resulting in the closure of several regional support centres. This has disproportionately affected families in rural areas who now have to travel long distances to access essential services. In Queensland, the cutbacks have been even more severe, with a 20% reduction in social support funding. This has led to understaffed and overburdened family support organisations, making it increasingly difficult for parents and children affected by parental alienation to receive timely assistance. Western Australia and South Australia have not been spared either, with funding reductions of 12% and 18% respectively. These cuts have strained already limited resources, forcing many support groups to reduce their programs or shut down entirely. These statistics paint a grim picture of the financial strain on families dealing with parental alienation. The reduction in funding not only hampers the ability of support services to function effectively, but also places an additional burden on parents and children who are already facing emotional and psychological challenges. Addressing this financial strain is critical. Restoring and increasing funding for family support services is essential to ensure that all families have access to the help they need. By investing in these services, we can provide a lifeline to those suffering from parental alienation and work towards a more supportive and just system for all families. As we move forward, it is imperative that we recognize the broader systemic issues at play and advocate for the necessary financial resources to support affected families. Only then can we hope to alleviate the immense pressure on parents and children and foster a more compassionate and effective family law system. Addressing parental alienation requires a multifaceted approach. We need legislative reform to recognize parental alienation as a form of child abuse and to provide targeted interventions. Judges, lawyers, and other legal professionals require specialized training to identify and respond appropriately to alienation cases. We must improve support services for alienated parents and children.